So,
Come.
let's give it a second. Let's knock that down. Here we go. We good on Facebook. Facebook. How are we on YouTube?
Check. How does it sound? Check, 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 check. Oh yeah.
Good.
Check, check.
Oh, we good. All right, let's unpress. All right, sounds good. All right, Shalom Israel, Shalom Yawashim Shabrakatah to the brothers, Shalom Yahashim Alatah Bahashim Yahushai to the sisters. And today is a high holy day, if you didn't already know. It's the memorial of the blowing of the trumpets. It's a holy day for the Most High. So we'll give everybody just a quick second to check in before we get started. And then we're going to get started with the prayers. Let's give them a little bit since we got an audience.
Count, count.
Well,
Ah.
all right. All right, and with that, Mijam, just me and the brother up here. All right, we're gonna call up a brother. Slaki, if I may, sir. Can I get priest and officer Malakma? Slaki.
State your registry.
So, Mijam, Mijam Shabbat, Mijam, Barak,
Malakma, Malakma ban Yashakar ban Yasharala.
Malakma. Say what?
Malakma, Banyasharala.
It's like Ban Yashakar.
Oh, Salaki.
Malakma, Ban Yashakar, Ban Yasharala.
Salam Yabash Sharakta.
Shalom Yahweh Shabbat.
I'm gonna get this out of here.
I just wanted to show. Sorry, face me. That's like this. Sorry, face me. Hold it out. Say La Yasharala,
La Yasharala.
which means to Israel. Sorry, face me. Sorry. Sorry, face me. Hold both. It's like this right here. Hold it right here. So we know where it's going. Okay. And sorry, face not the sun. Double sorry. These are wild, these are wild. Sorry, face not the sun. It's locked. All right. Imagine upon Yahweh. Quadam, which means to rise and face. We're going to be getting started with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. This is the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Kodash.
Kodash.
Hayah. Shemka.
Shemka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malak with Ka.
Malak with Ka.
Taba'ah.
Taba'ah.
Matazaka.
Matazaka.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Ba'arataza.
Ba'arataza.
Kawa.
Kawa.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Bashamayim.
Bashamayim.
Latanmanaw.
Latanmanaw.
Lakam.
Lakam.
Call.
Yawam.
Yawam. Wasalak now.
Wasalak now.
Kabawak now.
Kabawak now.
Kasalak now.
Kasalak now.
Kabawak now.
Kabawak now.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Tabaya now.
Tabaya now.
Banasaiwan.
Banasaiwan.
A ball.
A ball.
Hawashai now.
Hawashai now.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Ride.
Ride.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Look.
Look.
Hamalakwa.
Hamalakwa.
Wa'ala.
Wa'ala.
Watapara.
Watapara.
Awalumyum.
Wa'alayum.
Aman.
Aman. The Lord's Prayer in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not. Into temptation. But deliver us. From evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it.
Hakak, which is the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Ba'ashem.
Yahushai.
Babakashah. Latanyanaw. Hakak. Labra'ah.
Call.
Makala.
Wakal.
Madawat. Hakak. Latahar.
Matazariah.
Hakak.
Lahaquayim.
Hamathiam. Hakak.
Al.
Rakawath.
Hatama Allah. Lagarashun. Ba'ashem. Yahushai. Throw water.
Aman. Hakak, the power in the English. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh. Please give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahweh. Thank you. So be it.
The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh.
Wa
Yahweh Shai.
Wa Yahushai.
Mayaka Allah.
Allah.
Wa Alahayim. Matazab Ya'ah. Alawap Yahana.
Alawapyam.
Hasaranyim.
Hakwatazayoyim.
Hakayayoyim. Waha Akwathian. Yahweh. Ba'ashem.
Yahushai.
Throw water.
Aman. The blessings in the English. Bless you, Yahweh. And Yahweh Shai. And Michael. And the angel. Commander General Yohanan. The generals. The captains. The officers. The troopers. And the sisters. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you. So be it.
Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah,
Ayunya,
Ahayim,
Mayan,
Yaba'ah, Isaiah,
Ma'ayin, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Wa'arataza, Ayatan, Lamawat, Ragolka, Yanawam, Shamarka, Ana, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yayashun, Shawamar, Yasharala, Yahweh,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Tazarka,
Tazarka,
Ayad,
Ayad,
Yamyamka,
Yamyamka,
Yawamam,
Yawamam,
Hashamash,
Yashamash,
La'a,
La'a,
Yakaka,
Yakaka,
Wairath,
Wairath,
Balayala,
Balayala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamarka,
Yashamarka,
Makal,
Makal,
Rai,
Rai,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Athnapashka,
Athnapashka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Taza'afka,
Taza'afka, Wawa'afka,
Maitha,
Maitha,
Wa'ai,
Wa'ai, Awalam. Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills.
I will lift up my eyes to the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from the Lord.
My help cometh from the Lord,
Which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth Israel
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy shade
The Lord is thy shade
upon thy right hand.
upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
The Lord shall preserve thee
The Lord shall preserve
from
thee
all evil.
from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in
and thy coming in
from this time forth
from this time forth
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim,
Alahayim,
all,
Damaya,
Laka,
Laka,
all,
Takarash, Wa'al,
Tashakwat,
all,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Hana,
Awayibika,
Yahama,
Yahama,
Yawan,
Ra'ash,
Al, Amaka, Ya'ayamwa, Sawada, Waida,
Yatazawa,
Al, Tazapawanyaka,
Tazapawanyaka,
Morwa,
Amara,
Wakawa,
Wanakakidam,
Magoya,
Magoya,
Wala'a, Yazakar, Shum, Yasharala,
Awada,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Natazawa,
Laba,
Yakabwa,
Al-Yaka,
Baryath, Yakarathwa, Aliyah, Adawam,
Wa,
Yashamai,
Alayam,
Mawa'aba, Wahagorium, Gabal, Wayamawan, Wayamalak, Palashath, Am Yeshabia, Tazawar, Gum, Ashawar, Nalawa, Imam, Hiawa, Zarawai, Labunya, Lawat, Salah, Aisha, Lahum, Kamudyan, Kasaya, Sara'ah, Kayubyan, Banakal, Kayashwan, Nashamadwa, Bayan, Dara, Hiawa, Daman, La'a, Dama, Shayatamwa, Nada, Yamawa, Kairab, Wakaza Abba, Wakaza Wakatazor, Manai, Call, Nasayakama, Ashar, Amorwa, Yarasha, Lanawa, Nawath, Alahaya, Shayatamwa, Kagogala, Kakwash, Lapunya, Salah. Rawaka, Ka'ash, Taba'ira, Ya'ira, Wa, Talahaba, Talahat, Hahorim, Khan, Tawadatma, Masa'iraka, Wabasa, Wapafka, the Bahalam, Malaha, Panyahum, Kuala Waya, Lakashwa, Shamka, Yahweh, Yabashwa, Waya, Bahawa, Ayai, Waya, Kapalwa, Waya, Abadwa, Waya, Daiwa, Kaya, Atta, Shamka, Yahweh, Labaka, Aliwan, Al, Call, Ha Rataza.
Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thy silence, O God.
Keep not thy silence, O God.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still.
And be not still.
O God.
O God.
For lo,
For
thine enemies make a tumult.
thine enemies make a tumult.
And they that hate thee
And they that hate
have lifted up the head.
have lifted up the
They
head.
have taken crafty counsel
They have taken crafty counsel
against thy people.
against thy people.
And consulted
And consulted
against thy hidden ones.
against thy hidden.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
come,
and let us cut them off
and let us cut them
from
off
being a nation,
from being a nation.
that the name of Israel
That the name of Israel
may be no more remembered.
may be no more remembrance.
For they have consulted together
For they have consulted together
with one consent.
with one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against
The tabernacles of Edom
the tabernacles of Edom
and the Ishmaelites
and the Ishmaelites
of Moab
of Moab
and the Hagarenes,
and the Hagarenes,
the Baal
the Baal
and Ammon
and Ammon
and Amalek,
and Amalek,
the Philistines,
the Philistines,
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Assur also is joined with them.
Assur also is joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah,
Salah.
do unto them
Do unto them
as unto the Midianites,
as unto the Midianites,
as to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to Jabin,
at the brook of Kissam,
at the brook of Kissam,
which perished at Endor.
which perished at Endor.
They became as done for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like Oreb,
Make their nobles like a
and
red,
like Zaid.
and like Zaid.
Yea, all the princes as Zabah,
All their princes as Zabah,
and as Almunah,
and as Almud,
who said,
who said,
Let us take to ourselves
let us take to ourselves
the houses of God in possession.
the houses of God in possession.
Oh my God,
Oh my God.
make them like a wheel,
Make them like a whip,
as a stubble before the wind,
as a stubble before the wind,
as the fire burneth a wood,
as the fire burneth the wood,
and as a flame setteth the mountains on fire.
and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
So persecute them
So persecute them
with thy tempests,
with thy tempest,
and make them afraid
and make them
with
afraid
thy storm.
with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with shame,
that they may seek thy name.
that they may seek thy name.
O Lord,
O Lord,
let them be confounded
let them be confounded
and troubled
and troubled
forever.
forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame
let them be put to shame
and perish, that men may know
that men may know
that thou,
that thou,
whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
art the most high
art the most
over
high
all the earth.
over all the earth.
Sorry, face me.
All right, let's get the most high hand.
You may be seated. All right, Slocky, if I can, who can tell me what today is? What's today?
The blowing of the Feast of the Trumpets, sir.
Give this brother a hand.
Salaki.
No, Slocky, you said the feast, Slocky.
The blowing of the trumpet.
The blowing of the trumpet.
Blowing of the trumpet. Salaki, sir.
No, you too wild, you too wild. All right, so today we're going to be reading out of the book of Leviticus, chapter 23. However, we're going to be starting in the Hebrew. We read the first 7 verses in the Hebrew, and then we go over it in the English, and we give a breakdown.
Is that chapter 23?
Chapter 23. The book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verses 1 through 7.
Oh, that's right. Chapter 1 through 7?
No. Chapter 23, verse 1 through 7.
Chapter 23, verse 1 through 7.
Leviticus, chapter 23.
Salaki, I'm probably going to have to read the Syrian. Oh, it's right here. Salaki.
Something.
I can do it. Whatever's going. Are you going Okay. The book of Leviticus, chapter 23 and verse 1. Might be missing a page, honestly. Yeah, because
You gotta read out of the Assyrian.
I go to 18. So like, yeah, that's missing a page.
Is it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's right here.
Oh, it's right there.
It's like it. That's crazy.
That's wear and tear.
Kind.
You know,
It says study.
boom.
Come. All right. So the book of Leviticus, chapter 23 and verse 1. Why ya da bar yaha waha al mashaha laha amar da bar al banyam yashar Allah wa amar ta al hum mawa id ya Yahweh Ashara Thapa Salakia Thaqwa Ra Wa Ha Atham Kwa Rahaya Quadash Al Ha Hum Mawa Idea Shaf Yawam Yum I Shaya Yum Slack it Mala Kaha Waba ya Wam Hasha Ba'aya Hasha Ba'aya Shabbath one Makwa Raha Quadash Kal Mala Kaya Kaha Laha Aish wa Shabbath Hawa Laya Ha waha bakal mawasha bath ya kan alia mawa id ya yaha waha Yahweh, okay. Makwa raya Quadash Asherah Takwa Rahaiwa Athan Bama wa I Dan Bachadash Hara Ash Wan Ba'ara Iha Shara Lacha Dash Bayan Ha'ai Rob Yan Pasach Laya Ha Waha Waba Kanasha Sha Aisha Ya Wan Lacha Dash Hazaha Chag Hana the what Laya Hawa Ha Shaba I Ath Yawan Yum Nataza Wath Tha'a Kal Wa. Are we just going to verse 7 or are we reading through verse 7?
Read verse 7.
Okay, come on. Baya Wan Hara Ash Wan Makara Quadash Yahweh Lachan Kal Nala Akath Ibadaha La. That's it.
So we're going to be going over the book of Leviticus. The book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 1 in the English.
In the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel.
Of who?
Of Israel.
Go ahead.
And say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest. Unholy convocation, ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month, at even is the Lord's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. In the first day ye shall have an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein.
Okay, Salakia, we'll stop right there. So actually, before we continue, can one of the troopers, Salakia, if I could, tell me the significance of the Passover? If you're confident, you got to raise it high. What you got, Halak?
So like I said, if I may, it's to remind us the Most High God got us out of bondage.
Okay.
Out of Egypt, out of the grip of Pharaoh.
Okay. You there. Give me a little more. Okay. You're there. What you got, your top?
It's the day that the Lord killed the firstborn of the Egyptians and saved our people. We put the blood over them.
There you go. That's what I was looking for. Okay. But both of y'all were on it. You know, let me clap it up. Y'all both on it. Okay, so the reason these are just, for a lack of a better term, just giving a brief description of some of the high holy days that we have for the Most High. Now, it says in verse 2 alone, speak unto the children of Israel. We go over this every single time. You know, Christians are always going to tell you, no matter how, I'm telling you right now, no matter how much time goes by, you're always going to hear some Christian somewhere say that God loves everybody. You're going to hear it all the time. But you can read all throughout the Bible where it refers to the Most High as being a God of a specific people. If you read the book of Exodus, when we were in bondage, like Halak just brought up, when we were in bondage in Egypt, and Pharaoh had us into captivity. You know, Moses was sent to, to get us up out of there, and he told Pharaoh to get us up out of there, and he warned them of the Most High. And guess what? Just like our oppressor today, just like Esau, all these other heathens that have had us into captivity at some point, he didn't want to listen. He was arrogant. At one point, a lot of these like Egyptians and stuff, they think of themselves as gods. So to him, it was just like, whatever. But if you read in there, it says the Lord of the Hebrews, as us, 12 tribes of Israel. Okay. Now, it says in Salaki, can you go read verse 7 one more time, Baba Kashaw?
In the first day, ye shall have an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein.
You shall do no servile work within. Okay, so, Salaki, what you got, sir? Oh, Salaki, I thought you had your hand up. But, okay, so today we know that it's a high holy day, but, okay, can somebody tell me what heathen holiday it is today? What you got, sir?
Everyone's celebrating the Labor Day.
Khan Wakan. Now, Labor Day, okay, so most of these heathen holidays, what usually happens? You get a day off, right?
Right.
Usually, though. But, there's some brothers and sisters that are working today, right?
Right.
And a lot of them, Salaki, they're not in the truth right now. The reason why they're still working, it says that ye shall do no servile work therein. When you serve the Most High, you'll be very surprised as to what he will do for you. You get my point? Like brothers and sisters who are in the world right now, a lot of them still have to work. They're trying to get that extra time in. They're trying to, time. Yeah, time and a half to get that extra money. Because, we still struggling. Right. We still in captivity today. I know it don't feel like it, but, for for some of us anyway, but we still in captivity. You know, we still living trying to meet ends meet, living paycheck to paycheck. You know, we ain't even got time to worry about anything else. Like Esau and them, they get a time off. You feel me? Right. They get to enjoy their Labor Day, but we as the nation of Israel, we still got to work. We still got mouths to feed. We still got kids to take care of. We still got bills to pay. All right. But this is what happens when you don't honor the Most High. It could be something as simple as a high holy day, you know, celebrating holidays. I know a lot of people in the world, they don't really understand the concept of why it's such an issue celebrating pagan holidays. Right. Slagia, if I could I get, actually, you can hold where you are, sir. Slagia, can I get Jeremiah 10 and 2? Oh.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
Of the who?
Of the heathen.
Go ahead.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them.
That's it on that?
Come.
Okay. And if I could, Yatab, could you give me Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 29? So it says, you know, pretty much don't follow the way of the heathen. And what do we do as a nation of Israel today? Or actually, no, what have we been doing for, good Lord, generations?
Right.
We've always wanted to do what everybody else wants to do. And it's because of that we're still lost today. You know, for my so-called blacks out there, you know, what do we call today? African American. You know, for my Hispanic brothers and sisters out there, you know, I know a lot of Hispanic brothers and sisters in the world, they like to say that they're, what is it, Spaniard? You know, but what a lot of them don't understand is that just like us, you know, because we are the same people, we were colonized by the Spaniards, right? The Portuguese, the conquistadors, the colonizers, whatever, the British, the English, whatever you got. What you got, sir?
I was going to say the same way when you ask a so-called Negro, like what country in Africa are you from? They won't say, I don't know.
Right. Exactly.
Right. When you ask a Latino, what part of Europe, Spain, you know what I mean? You go to visit your relative. Right. They don't know.
Yeah. So, Slagia, if I may, because we ain't got no relatives out there. Right. And Priest and Officer Commandant brought up a very heavy point. We're so lost, you know, without the Most High. We've been like this for generations and generations. This is why it's so important that for anybody who may be watching this, if you're not in the school already, I mean, the doors are still open, but I mean, Slagia, it seemed like we damn near in the end of days as it is. You know, we living through the prophecies right now. You see what's going on. I mean, let's talk about, okay, the earthquakes in Haiti. Let's talk about the food shortages and the riots that are going on in Cuba right now. Let's talk about the floods that are happening in New York, the East Coast. Louisiana? You know, if I could, Louisiana was famous for a while because they had Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. And we seen how devastating that was. And of course, you know, same as usual, COVID-19. Right. It's no different from any other plague that's been bestowed upon the Most High. And this is what we're going through today. Okay, we have time. We're in the grace period right now, but Christ could come back tonight. Right. Christ could come back tomorrow, next month. We don't know, but we know Christ is coming back. And it's going to happen a lot sooner than you think. And if I could just make a quick comment before we continue, Salakia to the men above me, any brothers and sisters that are in the truth right now, I pray, I'm telling you, I pray you don't leave the truth. Because I guarantee you, the day you leave the truth is the day Christ come back. Right. And you going to be mad as hell. Right. Salakia, if you could you read your time? You got Deuteronomy chapter 12 and 29? Salakia, 12 and 29. Go ahead and read.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 29. When the Lord thy God shall cut off the nations from before thee, whether thou goest to possess them, and thou succeedest them, and dwellest in their land, take heed to thyself, that thou be not snared by following them.
Read that one more time for the top, Baba Kasha.
Take heed to thyself, that thou be not snared by following them.
Be not snared by following them. Just like in Jeremiah 10 and 2, you know, it says, you know, to not follow the way of the heathen. Now that goes into your pagan holidays. Okay. First of all, where do you think they got holidays from? High holy day. Right. Holiday. look, nations, the other nations are always trying to be like us. Okay, don't get so wrapped up into what's going on in the world today. I know it's a little early to speak on it right now. What's it? It's September. Look, before on my drive on the way over here right now, I was already hearing about the Halloween commercials. Halloween is satanic as hell anyway. I don't even know why you would want to celebrate any of those things. But what you got, sir?
If I could add to that.
Go ahead, sir.
Ask yourself why on these high, on this oppressors holidays, where they get the spirit to, make you have the day off. You know what I'm saying? What's the Bible say? The Bible says these are supposed to be holy convocations. We're not supposed to do no servile work. And majority of these heathens and this oppressor, man, they get the day off and they go get together and celebrate the day, which is, what the Bible tells us to do for our high holy days.
Exactly.
So, man, that should just, something for people out there in the world to think about.
No, that's an excellent point, Adawan. Like I was saying before, Esau, he gets his days off. We can't afford to get a day off because we still trying to make ends meet. I don't know if y'all seen the gas prices lately. Slovakia. Look, I'm not from California, so it definitely irritates me every single time I gotta get gas. I remember at one point it took about $20 to fill up my gas tank. I drive a Honda, so it's a little better. But then I come out here. I mean, for me, it's like almost $45. So I can only imagine what it is for other brothers and sisters. But like you brought up earlier, it says, to do no servile work. We still got to work.
Right.
But why we still got to work? Because we following these heathens. So like, if you could, could you continue to verse 30 in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 12?
After that they be destroyed from before thee, and that thou inquire not after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? Even so will I do likewise. Thou shalt not do so unto the Lord thy God. For every abomination to the Lord which he hateth have they done unto their gods. For even their sons and their daughters they have burnt in the fire to their gods.
Okay, you can stop right there. That just gives a little bit more of a brief of a history as to why we shouldn't follow other nations. Okay, so like, what you got, sir? Go ahead, sir.
Why do one day excel another, as all the light of every day in the year is of the sun? By the knowledge of the Lord were they distinguished, he alters seasons and feasts. Some of them have he made high days and hallow him, and some of them have he made ordinary days. I just bring that out because if the Lord didn't ordain it to be a high holy day, like he said, he has a Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? Like how he has today, the feast of
Con.
Like, these days, he distinguished these days, and in his time, those are days that we should be celebrating.
Right.
The Lord ordained it, not just because your oppressor ordained it. Days are ordinary in the eyes of the Lord.
Salakia, so you brought up such a heavy point. Like you said, like the difference between like our oppressor and the Most High. If I could I get to Matthew 6:24?
In Matthew chapter 6 and verse 24, no man can serve two masters. For either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon.
There you go. Just like what you brought up earlier, sir. Like you can't serve two different beings in a sense, right? Like the thing is, we need to understand that we are the children of Israel and we serve the Most High.
Right.
That's it. Okay. So you can't serve the Most High, and I mean, I don't know why you would want to serve Esau anyway, but you can't serve the Most High and serve our oppressor at the same time. Meaning, you can't celebrate Labor Day, right? Today is the blowing of the trumpets. This is a high holy day for the Most High. We're supposed to honor that as the children of Israel. But then sadly, you still got brothers and sisters out here who are, celebrating Labor Day. Not just Labor Day. I know that's like a minuscule one. Let's talk about Thanksgiving. Let's talk about Halloween, Christmas. That's everybody's favorite one right there. Every time Christmas come around or Thanksgiving, we get the Thanksgiving spirit or whatever they like to call it or whatever. And we love to celebrate these pagan holidays, right? But think about it though. I actually asked somebody this question before. I asked them, how often do you see your family? Like just as a whole, how often do you see your family? So like your Tob, how often do you see your family, if you don't mind me asking?
Rarely.
Rarely? So like, sir, if I may, how often do you see your family? Oh, Salagia, sir, yes.
Yes. Really never.
Really?
Every 5 years.
Right.
Kind of. And if I may speak on that too, like my family on the whole other side of the continent right now. So when I see him is when I see him. My whole point is though, what happens every holiday? Let's speak about Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? They tell us to go out, shop, buy gifts for your loved ones, and spend time with them. Now it sounds good, right? You're spending time with your family. What could be the issue with that? Right. Here's the issue though. First of all, the only reason you spending time with your family is because Esau told you to.
Right.
And on top of that, what are you doing? What they tell you during Christmas? They tell you, oh, if you really love your family, you got to buy gifts for them.
Right.
Now they try to make you feel like, well, I gotta buy my mom a present, or I gotta buy my little brother or little sister something, because if I don't, then, that's going to mean that I don't love them. It sounds ridiculous, right? It's dumb.
Right.
Don't do that. Okay. Salakia, sir, what you got?
Good, please add to that. Why is it that, families get together on those days, right? And it's supposed to be like a wonderful time. Everybody all happy to be there. Why does it always end with fighting?
Right.
Man.
Why does it always end with some, going down where you got someone drunk out of their mind, or there's some kind of mischief or chaos going on at the dinner table?
Or start off a fighting.
Or start fighting.
For real.
It's supposed to be a wonderful time for the family to get together.
Right.
Right? Shows you the spirit behind these, this oppressor's holidays.
Right.
Because like just before Christmas, people do evil acts to get what their children want, or things like that, or their families, or their wife, to give them a present. They'll do an evil act, but they'll think that it's really good.
Right.
Satan trying to make you think like it's good. But America trying to make it seem like celebrate Christmas is really good and it feel good wholeheartedly. But in reality, he's trying to get you to do something and destroy you at the end.
Right.
So when you see your family, get along, in the presence, you might have your mom not cuss you out that second, or things like that. But wait till that night end. Say, it's time. You gotta deliver what I want.
Right.
Right.
Cut that little nigga out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Go fight him. Go fight your baby daddy. Go do this and that. You know what I mean? Like at the end, like he said, something's gonna happen.
Right.
Right.
Slog, if I may. Oh no, go ahead.
Yes, if I may, real quick too, because the points are so heavy, it just shows you how meaningless the oppressors' holidays are. You know what I mean? Our oppressors' holidays have no meaning behind it. There's usually it's a hidden, powerless God that they serve that leads them to do homosexuality or some type of wickedness that they used to do back in their old days, that they want to keep bringing that back, that spirit back in. You know what I mean? So they'll disguise it with Santa Claus, or they'll disguise it with Easter Bunny or something like that. Like everything that just doesn't make any sense at all. You know what I'm saying? But as far as our holidays, as far as our holy days have meaning behind them.
Right.
You know what I mean? It has a history behind them. It has a glory of the Most High, of Him doing something of getting something that He did that was miraculous on this earth, that we can go back and, you know what I mean, pretty much cherish that moment of what happened at that time period. So, you know what I mean, everything that we got, we got Passover, we were free from captivity from Egypt. Right. We had, you know what I mean, every holy day we got it's a background to it, and it has something to do with our culture and our history.
Right.
So sir, you had something?
America is built against the Lord. They are so anti-Christ and anti-the Lord. They have you doing things around certain times for a reason, and it goes against the Lord.
Right.
The way they built the society is
Right.
Right.
It's for you. It's designed for you to fail, and it's designed for you to do and serve other gods outside of your own God.
Right.
Right.
Oh, that's
Oh.
Salaki, just one moment.
And Slocky, if I could say one more thing.
Go ahead, sir.
Just as much zeal as Israel, blacks, and Hispanics, and they bring Indians put into Christmas, Halloween,
Right.
and all these other holidays, all these other simple holidays and evil holidays, all the zeal and power that you put into that, you should be able to put into these high holy days.
Right.
This is highly important.
Right.
You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? The Lord
Right.
looking down on us and seeing who want to really, make this live on, man. And what y'all brothers right there doing, man, is a hell of a job, man.
Go on,
Y'all
sir.
keeping
Go on,
us
sir.
alive right now.
Christ.
Go on.
Y'all
Water.
making sure, and the brothers that sitting in these seats, and sisters that sitting in these seats, is keeping this alive. 'Cause they
Damn
can tell
right.
their children. And
Right.
they, and they go on and on.
Right. That's a fact.
We brought out was so heavy, Slocky. Your top. Could you give me Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 12, Baba Shah? Because what the priest was bringing out was heavy. Like, first and foremost, if you actually knew, like what you said earlier, like Esau's holidays have absolutely no meaning to it, or like it's just meaningless, right?
Right.
Like I actually looked up the reason behind Christmas. It's literally just for economic development. That's
Right.
it. That's
Right.
literally all it is. Because think about it real quick. Like you said earlier, sir. Like we as the nation of Israel, we show so much zeal to these holidays, right? They make so much money off of us. That money that we could have spent on anything else, we could have invested it. We could have did something for our family. Did something for our children. Who knows? Lord allow it. Save up enough to give an inheritance to our children. Something that benefits us, right? But we don't do that. We show so much zeal to them, and they build up off of it. You got you got Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 12. You go ahead and read it for me, Baba Kashaw.
This is Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity.
How was America built? There you go.
Right.
What does Slaggy, your top? What does woe mean in the Bible?
Destruction.
There you go. Destruction. Can you read it one more time for the top, Baba Kashaw?
This is Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood
Right. Go
and
ahead.
establish a city by iniquity.
So I don't know if anybody knows, but destruction. I mean, I can't even say. You know what? I can't even say destruction is coming to America because the destruction is already happening.
Right.
Okay, it's just like what happened in Egypt. Like you saw how the Most High was like the Most High could have just destroyed Egypt in a night. He could have just burnt it all down just like that, right? I mean, you see what he did with Sodom and Gomorrah. We all know about that, right? But he systematically destroyed Egypt from the inside out by turning the water to blood, by making all the Egyptians have boils. Okay, that by the famine, the cattle and the animals dying off, their farmland, all that. He was slowly destroying it. It's the same thing that's happening. So like I'll get to y'all one minute out of one. It's the same thing that's happening with this nation today. Y'all see what's happening. I don't know if y'all know this, but y'all know the IRS. Remember when we was getting? Well, I don't know. I know some brothers and sisters didn't get the stimulus checks, but for those who did get the stimulus checks, the IRS wants that money back.
Right.
They want their money back because guess what? America's trillions of dollars in debt with all these other nations. I know they trillions of dollars in debt with China.
Right.
They owe so much damn money. So I remember it was me and a few brothers at my slave. I'm like, they gonna want that money back. Ain't no way in hell they just gonna give a whole bunch of Negroes free money. Ain't no way in hell. But guess what? They did for a little bit. And I said, okay, I guarantee you they're gonna ask for it back. And here, look what's happening right now. During the midst of COVID, all these companies were losing all their money. Right. And what did they do? They said, F it. We're gonna open everything back up. And people were still catching COVID. They tried to open up the beaches. People were still catching COVID. It got to the point that they don't even care anymore. It's still happening right now. Esau don't give a damn about nothing but his money. Don't take away Esau money. he gonna lose his mind. Salaki, what you got, sir?
It's a lot. Precept. If I could just, because that point you were dropping was pretty heavy, and bringing out that precept, right? That Habakkuk 2:12. That shows you another thing, man. It shows you that the oppressor does not read the Bible.
All right.
This same Bible is just telling you that your country is about to be destroyed because you started it in bloodshed.
Right.
So why would why would you have it? You know what to do when they swear someone in their Congress and whatnot? They have them swear on the Bible.
Oh,
you have the Christian church that preaches from the Bible and, talk about God and country and God bless America. This Bible right here is telling you America's going to be destroyed. And that right there shows you that they don't read the Bible. They don't know the Bible, because otherwise they would never even dare touch it, because it's telling them that their country is coming to an end.
Right.
Damn right. Slag, what you got, sir?
You talking about the oppression and everything. I just saw an article. I think the guy's name is Larry Elder. He goes on there and talks about how the former slave masters need to be get reparations for the slaves that they lost when they left. When we left slavery.
What?
Man.
Yes.
Good night.
Oh my goodness.
Man.
It was,
Good night.
good night.
They want to get back the slave master his property.
Man.
They said back then we were seen as property. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness.
That's why
Just wicked. Right.
Man.
Right.
Another reason to add on to.
That is Salaki. The water for sharing that, sir. I did not know that. That just shows you how lost we are, man. You said this was Salaki. You said this was Judite, brother. He was. Oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness. I mean, we just read it in the Bible, right? Well, like Salaki, could you read it one more time? Habakkuk 2:12.
Come. This is Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 12.
Man.
Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and established a city by iniquity.
That's America, man.
Right.
Like you could think about that every time, like another holiday that our nation loves to celebrate so much. It ain't just Christmas; it's Thanksgiving. But if you actually like, you don't even got to go into the Bible to know what happened to our Native Indian brothers and sisters, man.
Right.
Like I can't speak for everybody. I know, like in school, they try to this is why we say that the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. If you didn't know what a devil is a deceiver, a liar, a manipulator. Okay, and that is Esau. That is a so-called white man today. Okay, they try to make it seem as if what they call them, the pilgrims, the conquistadors. They just came into this country, right? And they met our Native American, so-called Native Indian brothers and sisters, and everything was just fine. They made it seem as if they tried to make it seem as if the pilgrims showed our people how to live, but it was actually the other way around.
Right.
Those Europeans were bringing over so many diseases; they were dying off. They didn't know how to properly herd their animals. They had the chickens and the cows and good night the pigs. Obviously, we know that pigs are an unlawful animal, but they're heathens. They're gonna eat whatever the hell they want. They had them running around. They weren't washing their hands, and they had all these diseases running around. And guess what? Gadites showed them how to properly bathe. They showed them how to make soap. They showed them how to properly herd their animals so that they wouldn't get sick. And of course, how did they repay them? They enslaved them, violated their women, kidnapped their women even, and sailed them over the seas into Europe and put them on display nude like an animal and said, hey, look what we found. Go get y'all some real quick. And they said, oh, okay. And then they went to go do the same thing. And they have the audacity to call our Native Indian brothers and sisters savages.
Right.
Who's the real savage? Only a savage could do something like that. Slocky, what you got, Adawan? Mm-hmm. Man, yep. Exactly. If I could just piggyback on that, Adawan, that just goes back into why Christianity is such a demonic thing that happened to our people, because they forced it onto us. They forced that onto our not just our Native Indian brothers and sisters, just Israelites in general. At one point they separated the children away from the parents, killed off the men and the women, of course, and they took their native language away from them. They forced them into these Christian schools, and you could read about. I mean, I don't know if y'all ever seen the Pope. The Pope is a child molester. Okay, You know, but that, guess what? That's nothing new.
Right.
That ain't nothing new. They've been doing that. You know, there was so many stories of so-called Native Indians who were children at the time who grew up and later said that they were left sexually confused because they were being violated and harassed when they were children by these Christians, right? Christianity was spread off of blood.
Right.
So why in the world would you want to even follow such a demonic thing in the first place?
Right.
But that's what happens to our people, man.
And if
That's
I
what
might
happened.
too,
Go ahead.
like I mean, when you get into Habakkuk 2 and 12, like Christianity is the same thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Their doctrine was spread through blood. You were forced to be a Christian. You know what I mean? You had to, it's either you had to choose between being a Christian or die. You know what I'm saying? So that just shows you the wickedness in it within itself. You know what I'm saying? If you're if we don't have to spread anything through blood. We tell you, you know what I mean? You can't be an Israelite other than being born into it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's only through birth and blood you can be a part of this. We don't need to spread it through the sword. You know what I'm saying? We spread it through, you know what I mean, our family. You know what I mean? Because we're all family at the end of the day. You know what I mean? We all got the same blood pumping through our veins. You know what I'm saying? So we don't need to spread it through the sword.
Right.
We don't need to force you to be an Israelite.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So you
If I
had something.
could.
Go ahead.
Why are they talking about being about all peace and love if their religion was spread by the sword and bloodshed?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Slaggy, so what you got? Shalom in Christ,
I just want to say, you know, a lot of people don't realize, and it's because of history that's been distorted, that a lot of the customs that our ancestors had, whether you are Native American Indian or indigenous to Latin America, a lot of the culture that we had was equal to the culture as the biblical Bible for the Hebrew Israelites. You know, and all that they practice in the Bible when it comes to hygiene, food, and the way of life is the same culture that we followed as indigenous people.
Right.
And the reason why we were so well during our indigenous time, like if you think about the Aztecs, the Mexica, or the Native Indians, we lived on parcels of land by the thousands and were able to survive on those pieces of land, food-wise, economically-wise, culturally-wise. We were able to sustain ourselves within these areas without ever having major issues with health or anything, or food issues or famines or anything like that, because we followed our traditions that we knew were ours.
Right.
It was till the white man came or the Europeans came and changed our ways that we began to diminish as a culture ourselves.
Right.
And now we find ourselves, you know, dealing with the situation today, which is that we don't know who we are, because not only did they ruin and destroy our identity, they also took our culture from us. And now we're trying to, you know, assimilate into a culture that's not our culture.
Right.
And because of that, we're being treated, and we're being viewed as, and we're being, you know, just as a whole, we're living as a nation that hates us. And because of that, we have this issue, because we call ourselves Mexican American, Black American, Native American Indian. Because we use that term, we're describing ourselves and trying to assimilate into a culture that's not ours.
Right.
And by holding the holidays that we do today, whether it be Memorial Day, which is today, or, you know, Thanksgiving, whatever holiday you want to pick, because we choose to do those holidays, we find ourselves still enslaved and still living and, you know, suffering in a nation that hates us. The only reason that we don't understand that is because we ignore the hatred that's being pushed against us.
Right.
We become used to and accustomed to what they treat us like. You know, we have white friends, and when you're around all their white friends, they see you as less.
Right.
They look at you and they point you out for things that you have and culture that you have. When they're alone with you, they treat you one way, but when they're in their circle with all friends, then you start to realize what you really stand. And the thing is that we got to understand that in order for us to come back, you know, you want to be indigenous, to come back to being indigenous, let go of the religion that you were taught. You want to be indigenous again? Let go of the customs that you're taught. You want to be indigenous again, or a real black man, real black woman? Well, let go of American culture.
Right.
Start to embrace your own culture and start to become what you were from the very beginning. You know, the Aztecs had or all indigenous people had this thing where they would say the soul travels. When you die, die, they didn't tell you, oh, rest in peace. They tell you travel well or travel in peace. And the way they said that was because they knew your soul was going to leave that body and come back. Maybe not in that generation, 2 generations, 3 generations, but for sure, they knew that your soul was coming back. We're all here because we realize we've come through this before. When we hear these words come out of the prophet's mouth, which is all the brothers in the ISUPK, it reaches in our soul.
Right.
It tells us that something that we're hearing is correct. And we're not from here. We all live different lives before we came into this world.
Right.
But there's something about the words that are coming out of the spirits of these brothers that tells us this is the place that I need to be.
Right.
And we're all here because we realize this is our place. And it's because we've heard these words before. Whether you be a sister or a brother, we've been here before. You know what you went through. You know, and if the, you know what the Lord says, you know, we won't remember. The reason the Lord gave you that of not being able to remember who you were, because you don't want to remember the atrocities that you went through.
Right.
The Lord keeps that from you. If you remember the atrocities that you went through, one reason is you're here is because your spirit tells you you've been through something. This is the right place to be. Second is you don't want to know what you went through. Because if you remembered what you went through, maybe you'd be traumatized. What is that?
PTSD.
Right.
Exactly.
Because of what your soul has been through over and over and over again. So this is the place where we need to be. This is the spot we need to recover it. Recover our spirit, recover our soul. Recover who we are as men and women or as Israelites. That the Lord has chosen in this appointed time to come back and speak to brothers and sisters and wake them up for what it is that we're preparing for. You got to remember, when the Lord's about to destroy a nation, he calls on prophets to call his people out.
Right.
Call the brothers and sisters because something is coming
Right.
that's about to destroy this place.
Right.
And he's done it all throughout the Bible. The Bible is all about Israelites. And it's all about destruction of places and captivity. So you got to understand the reason we're here is because something is coming. And the reason we've all been called to speak is because we're here to warn them. We are those trumpets that the Bible speaks about.
Right.
Heavy.
That's our job.
Heavy.
We call our brothers because it's about to happen. And without us, we'd all be lost. But the Lord has blessed us and called us to do this work because we're here to save our brothers and sisters and raise up soldiers and warriors and raise up priests and prophets.
That's right.
And that's what we all are.
That's
Right. That was a heavy point on the hygiene too, because you got a lot of Edomite celebrities. It's like a new thing where they're just coming out talking about their hygiene and how they don't bathe at all. They only bathe when they start to, you know,
my goodness.
see the bacteria and the crust on them. So you know what I mean. You know who the nationalities are in this Bible by the Bible. You know what I mean.
It's like, what you got, sir? Exactly.
Right.
In Europe, everybody used to wash in that one well. When they washed up in that one well, they come out of that well, all the rats, and fleas, and mice, everything would be in that well. And that's when the bubonic plague started. So nasty. They know how to really bathe themselves.
All right.
Salaki, if I could, I wanted to just add on that, like, what you were saying was so heavy because, you know, when they were going through their plagues and everything, you know, they didn't really understand the concept of bathing. So what did they do?
Right.
It's actually very similar to what America does today, like during COVID-19. You know, I don't know if brothers ever heard, like, you know, like the plague doctors, they wore like the masks, and they believed that it was like perfume or like an incense or something. They tried to like cover, like mask over the smell or whatever plague was going on, and they thought that, okay, if we do this, then, you know, we'll be free from the plague, we'll be all right. They still died though.
Right.
Well, what's happening today? COVID-19, or you got to wear your mask, you know, and it's so dumb when you really think about it because they tell you to wear your mask, right? You know, or you're going to catch COVID or whatever. But the thing is, those same people who are telling you to wear your mask are still having unprotected sex with random people. Right. I don't know if anybody knows this, but AIDS is still a thing. Catching STDs is still a thing.
Right.
Okay. You'll expose yourself to a person that you've never known in your entire life, but you afraid to go outside the house without your mask.
Right.
Now, I'm not telling you don't wear your mask. If you want to wear it, go ahead and wear it. Just like how I say, I'm not telling you not to get the vaccine. If you want to get the vaccine, get the vaccine. I'm not forcing you to do anything. But what I'm saying is these are the things that our people have always suffered. Like Priest and Officer Kazak Yad brought up earlier. We want to follow these pagan holidays. We want to follow these heathen customs that have been plagued upon us as a people. And because we keep doing that, like, you got to really look at the psychological development behind it. Like, we'll celebrate Christmas, Thanksgiving, Memorial Day, or was it St. Patty's Day, which is so stupid because St. Patty's Day is about the Irish. Last time I'm looking around this room right now, I don't see not one Irish person in here.
Right.
But then you got Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. I've seen it. I'm pretty sure we've all seen it. We're in these Irish Day parades, with the 4-leaf clovers and leprechauns and whatever it is, right? But you don't want to honor the high holy days that the Most High has for you. And there's actually a significance behind our high holy days. There's a meaning behind it. Just like you said earlier, sir, like, we try so hard to integrate with America. And what has integration ever done for our people? If everybody likes to talk about MLK and all that, but integration destroyed us. Now, it was no different back then. We were still being oppressed. It's no different than today. But at least at the time, I'll say brothers and sisters had a sense of unity. We tried to be with one another. We tried to, Black Wall Street. We had black schools. We had Black and Hispanic communities. I remember at one point they used to have those signs saying, I remember it was no Negroes, Puerto Ricans, or dogs allowed in here. That's what they think of us. Okay, they think of us like that. They think of us as something as lowly as a dog. And I know there might be some people that try to say, this is one of my favorite ones. Not all white people are racist.
Right.
Well, I have something to tell you. Yes, they are. The thing is, they're not going to show you because guess what? They don't have to. In their minds, they've already won. We're living in Babylon right now. Right. This is their nation. Right. They don't necessarily have to kill, to rape, to murder. Right. They don't have. They're still going to do it because they're wicked and they hate us. They've always hated us. Esau cursed us when Jacob was given the blessing by Isaac.
Right.
And what was Esau blessed with? Slakia, I know you know. It's to see if you know this. What was Esau blessed with?
I believe the sword and
there you go. Right. No, that was it. That was it. The sword. Esau does hate you. He hates every single thing about you. Okay, and when you chilling around, your white friends or whatever. First of all, those aren't your friends. Right. First and foremost, according to the Bible, ye that love me will follow my commandments. Well, the commandments were given to the 12 tribes of Israel, so you don't even qualify as a friend unless you're an Israelite. You get my point? Salagi, what you got, sir?
No, so I was just going to add to that on you look up what's her name? There's a Edomite out there that brought it out. Her name is Jane Elliott. She broke down as to why all white people are racist. She even emphasized that to say that any so-called white person out there that is not racist would be some kind of miracle. Right. But she said all white people are racist in this society. Man. Right. So that's a devil saying this.
Salagi, the devil's telling the truth. That's crazy. Salagi, what you got, sir?
And I'm gonna say, just the way I spoke about our spirits traveling. So have theirs.
Right. Exactly right.
You have to understand that if you begin to see their history, and you begin to see what they've done, you have to understand that you're looking at a person whose spirit, just like yours, knows that you've been here before. Their spirit also knows who they are.
Right.
They also know that person that you're looking at, you're speaking with, that you're friends with. You should understand that they also came from somewhere. Right. They also did what they did and were what they call today. Like, they got a word in California. They got a word for the trees where they hung Mexicans and blacks.
Right.
Native Indians. They're called witness trees.
Yeah,
That's
I've heard
the name
that.
they give them, witness trees. The reason they're called witness trees is because these trees are 500 years old, 400 years old. You're talking about trees that are ancient trees. Trees live forever, and they're called witness trees because they've seen all the atrocities that the white man has committed.
Man.
That tree knows what happened to Black Hispanics and Native
Right.
American Indians. And we've seen what has happened to us and why we were hung and how we were hung and all the things they've done to us. So you have to understand, when you see a white person, you have to understand that their spirit also knows what they've done and where they come from. And just the way we know, so do they.
Sloggy, if I could, Ottawan, like what you brought out was so heavy. Like going back to what you were saying, also, sir. Like, you know, all Edomites are racist, and like you said before, like, you know, just like how our spirit passes on, so does theirs. So that white friend that you think, you know, is your friend could have been your slave master back in the day, and Lord knows what they probably have done to you. That's why, like, whenever you bring up racism, especially in today's society, like, you ever see how like Edomites kind of, most of them anyway, they'll kind of like cringe, like they don't want to address the issue, and the reason why is because they know what their people have done. They know, they're very aware of it. Don't for a second ever think that they don't know what their people have done. They know that their nation has been built off of blood. And the reason why they don't want to acknowledge it is because if they acknowledge what their people have done to our people, they don't want to give us the reparations that we deserve. That's the truth behind it. They don't want to give us the reparations that we deserve, because for all the atrocities that they have committed against the children of the Most High, they know that they should be beneath us. They know that. Okay? Even before, Slagi, if I could, even before Jacob was given the blessing and Esau was blessed with the sword, it was said beforehand that the older shall serve the younger. Now, Esau and Jacob, you know, for those of y'all who don't know, they were twins, you know, but they were two separate nations when they were in the womb, okay? When they came out, technically the older was Esau. He was the older twin. Jacob was the younger, okay? So it was already prophesied that the older shall serve the younger. And Esau gave over his birthright, because usually when you have an eldest, right, you give your inheritance to the eldest. Well, and this was a more traditional time at the time, because these were both Isaac's sons. You would think that Esau would get the blessing, right? But Esau gave over his own birthright for some meat. That was it. Just to show the character of Esau. Like, he was just hungry at the moment. He gave over his whole birthright. He wasn't going to get the blessing anyway. That's my point. But he gave over his whole birthright for some food. And then he had the audacity to say that Jacob stole it from him when he was given the blessing. But if you read it, that's not what happened. You gave it up, big bro. That's on you. You did that. But guess what? Esau, even then, he couldn't own up to his own actions, just like the so-called white man today. They don't want to own up to what they've done to us. But it's fine. The Most High is going to get them for what they've done to our people. But just to kind of get back on track with these pagan holidays and why it's so important to honor the high holy days, like you said earlier, Natazak, like there's a significance behind our high holy days, things that have happened aforetime for our people, the things that the Most High has done for us. And for having, like, Salagi, if I could we just clap it up for the Most High real quick? Just real quick. Just for the fact of the Most High has had so much mercy on us as a people. I mean, time and time again, we have turned our back on the Most High. And if you really think about it, the Most High has the power to be a great God or a terrible God. And he's shown that multiple times. All right. For any new brothers and sisters who are coming into the school, if I could just take a second to just educate you real quick to understand that you being in here, you sitting in these seats right now is a blessing by the Most High. Because you got to think, there's some brothers and sisters who never knew the truth. They never knew. They never got a chance. They never got the opportunity to see any online classes. They never got the opportunity to walk down Hollywood and see us doing camp. They don't know who Commanding General Yohana is, or General Mahaiman, or General Hazayan. They don't know who they are. You know, and you got to think, you're not just doing this for you. You doing it for the brothers and sisters who have passed on, who didn't even get a chance. You doing it for the brothers and sisters who aren't in the truth. Lord allow it, he'll continue to have mercy on those brothers and sisters and they get in.
Right.
But at the same time, look, we all go through it. Family members, friends, sometimes it might even be sons and daughters, grandparents, right? Who might look at you a little funny because you came into the truth. That's fine. That's fine. You endure. Right. You continue to endure because you never know. You never know. You staying diligent. You, brother, not smoking weed no more. You not getting tattoos, not celebrating pagan holidays. You choosing to clean yourself up and keeping the law, statutes, and commandments that the Most High has put on for us. You might change another brother's life. And for the sisters, I mean, look, you see what's going on in the world with our sisters. They whore our sisters out and then glorify it. Well, I know we was talking about it not that long ago, that OnlyFans.
Right.
My goodness, it got to the point, it was so sad. It's sisters who are nurses and who actually have good professions, right? And they damn, they making more money than me. I'm trying to make ends meet. I might as well go take off my clothes too and go do something for some money. That's the nation that we live in today. But by you coming in here, dressing modestly, changing your life, who knows? You could change another sister's life. It might be a friend. It might be your mother. It might be your daughter. It might be your niece, a cousin. Who knows? Always behave as if somebody is watching you, because somebody is watching you. If I could just elaborate on that. There's an angel watching over each and every single one of us right now. You can't see them, but they can see you.
Right.
And they are going to report both the good and the bad that you do to the Most High. So I pray that, you want to have a good track record with the Most High, because when Christ come back, hey, look, you got to understand whose side you really on, man. This ain't a game. Okay. This isn't some Christian church where we shaking tambourines and singing hallelujah and all that. This ain't a book club. You get my point? Okay, we really do this for our kingdom. We got to build, we got to get to the kingdom. Okay? And this is how you do it. By keeping the law, statutes, and commandments that the Most High has made for us. So, did you have anything not to say?
I had verse 23 ready whenever you want to get
verse
to it.
23?
Yeah, well, we can get to the history of the trumpets.
Go ahead. Yeah.
You want to get to it right now, or you want to keep
verse 23?
Yeah, 23 and verse 23.
Oh, yeah, we do that, yeah. So the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 23.
That's where we were at, right?
Where
were we at?
7.
Verse 7?
23 and 7. However, 20, you can read 24 and 25. That talks a little bit more about the history of it.
On verses? Okay, I'll start at 23.
Okay, come on.
Okay. So Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 23. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the 1st day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, and holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Also on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls and offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It's like I passed it up. You want to keep going?
That was 25?
Yeah. Well, I passed 25 on accident. I went to I went to 26.
Okay, yeah, just stop at 25. That's it.
So the Lord is, he's given us our days to serve him. He's given us memorial days to serve him. He's passing it to Moses to give to us. And I'm pretty sure we fell short at that time period because we was too busy down that damn hill serving that golden calf. So, you know what I'm saying? But all in all, the Lord doesn't change, and he's not the author of confusion. Right. So, what he says is going to always stand, and this is going to be our tradition. And if he wants this to be our holy day, then we're going to serve it as such. So it's good to see I mean, brothers and sisters get together, I mean, and we're still going strong for the Most High and serving His holy days. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's anything you want to do with the blowing of the trumpets? Like,
can we get Numbers 10 and 9?
Oh.
I believe it's 10 and 9.
The book of Numbers, chapter 10, verse 9. And if ye go to war in your land against the enemy that oppresseth you, then ye shall blow an alarm with the trumpets, and ye shall be remembered before the Lord your God, and ye shall be saved from your enemies.
Go to verse 10, Baba Kasha.
Also in the day of your gladness, and in your solemn days, and in the beginnings of your months, ye shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings, and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for a memorial before your God. I am the Lord your God.
Okay, if I could real quick. So it says in verse 9, if you go to war in your land against the enemy that oppresseth you, if I could just get a little bit more into that. So we've already went over multiple times that, you know, that we are the children of the Most High, you know, the 12 tribes of Israel, right?
Wow.
Now, here's the thing. If we serve the Most High, this goes more into the saying of, you know, God loves everybody again, right?
Right.
The thing is, if you got enemies, you don't think the Most High got enemies? If you get my point, like, you got to understand the world that we live in right now, man. Like, you got to understand that you, first and foremost, you have enemies, and you need to understand who your enemies are, and it's these heathen nations. The Lord is a man of war, okay?
Right.
That it says that in the Bible also. The nation that we live in right now, like Slakia, like we were talking about before, living in Esau's nation, that he's your enemy. I mean, he's just one of them. I mean, he's the most wicked of them all, obviously, but he's just one of your enemies, man. Okay, and you need to understand that we are still in captivity. Like I said before, like, it doesn't seem like it because, you know, I know it's easy to turn on the TV. You know, you see celebrities, you know, they're doing good financially. You know, you see, you know, beautiful sisters who, you know, I don't know, being a bikini model or something. I don't know. But my whole point is that we are still oppressed because we don't even get to serve our high holy days in peace. We don't even get to, like I said, don't do any servile work. We still got to work on the white man's holidays.
Right.
Okay. We still are being oppressed. Like, think about it. They try to make it seem as if every brother is supposed to be a drug dealer or a drug addict or just something wicked, right? But then what happens when you don't want to do those things? You become a target. Same thing with sisters. Like, even in today's society, it's so sad. You know, it's unusual. It's so sad that I got to say this. It's unusual to see a sister that's actually willing to cover up. You could literally walk anywhere. You could walk down the street. It's summertime, and there's a sister with her behind half hanging out right there. And guess what? Her man is right there. She's walking with him. My point, like, when you don't want to do these things, though, and you choose to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, now all of a sudden everybody turns on you. But why does everybody turn on you? And I'm not just talking about the so-called white man. I'm even talking about brothers and sisters in the world, because they chose to follow the so-called white man. Like it said in Salakia, it was Matthew 6:24. You know, you can't have two masters. Okay, either you're gonna serve one or you're gonna serve the other. And sadly, a lot of us are lost, and we choose to serve so-called white man today. So when they see you put on all black, when they see you cover up your hair and you dress modestly, and you come in here and you do something as simple as this, serving a high holy day. I'm pretty sure there's somebody right now in your family, I know for me, they probably wondering, well, what are they doing right now? Why ain't they picking up the phone? Why like you gonna serve a high holy day, but you can't come over for Christmas? You can't come over for Thanksgiving. You know what? You don't love us no more. I can see you any day of the week. Like you my family, right? This goes more into what I was speaking of before. Of when you celebrate holidays, you are worshiping the so-called white man because you're doing exactly what he wants you to do. The second you don't do it, now you're a target. Oh, you swap. Slag it. When you choose to do these things, you're going to serve the so-called white man. When you don't want to do it, now you're going to become the enemy. You need to really understand what that means and what it really means to serve this nation. Slag it, you got anything not to say?
I mean, even with that, like it's like you're serving not just the white man, you're serving. Man, if you look into the history of all of his holidays, like it's so corrupt and so like, man, it's like people dying, people getting raped, people just, you know what I mean? It's just a whole bunch of madness and wickedness. He knows exactly who he is. You know what I mean? He knows his natural state on this world. He knows that he moves like a beast, and he knows that he, you know what I mean? He celebrates it. That's why he would make Thanksgiving into a holiday. You know what I'm saying? Because of how wicked he is. He'll take the genocide, or almost the genocide of our brothers and sisters, and try to make it into a day of celebration, like, and then manipulate the whole background of it. You know what I mean? So that's why it's like important for all Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to get into what the Bible was telling us to celebrate. You know what I mean? Because this is our culture, and our culture is so deteriorated out here in this nation. You know what I'm saying? Like we think that twerking and dressing up like whores and killing each other is supposed to be our culture. You know what I mean? We think Lil Nas X is our culture.
Oh my
we think,
goodness.
you know what I mean? We follow our oppressor so much that he can sit there and blatantly tell us right to our face that this person with a penis and testicles is a woman. You know what I mean? And we'll believe it and we'll take it. You know what I mean? It's like, you got something, sir?
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, reading out of what you're reading out of now, that scripture, you know, we come here to really understand not only the Bible but truth. You know what I'm saying? And when you start reading the scripture, you know, you're not only really reading scripture, you're understanding the reality of life. For instance, we're talking about the 7th month, correct?
Right.
We're talking about a holiday on the 7th month. So when you start really reading between the lines, you begin to understand that if this is the 7th month, then April has to be the 1st month.
There you go.
Because being that April's the 1st month, that would mean that that's the beginning of the year. So when you're wondering what is New Year's, because the white man celebrates January as New Year's, biblically it begins to tell you the 7th month is November, making April the 1st month. So when you start really reading the Bible for what it is, you begin to really decipher the lies that we've been taught. And we begin to put in perspective the reality of where the world that we live in. And understanding, you know, that these holidays are not really holidays, because if they're telling you that January is New Year's, there is a lie there that you've been, you know, that you've been indoctrinated with. So we have to come back to the Bible. We got to open up the Bible again, and we got to see it not for what Christianity taught us or the Catholic Church taught us, but for what the reality of what it is that we're reading. Bet you, if you read this in Catholic or Christian church, you would never understand that of the 7th month. You really would have passed through it. But yet, the Lord makes us celebrate this day, celebrate the 7th month. And he reiterates not only in this chapter, but also in Revelations, the 7th month. You know, because we got to understand that we got to come back to the real of what things are. If you came here to celebrate this day today, you should understand that there's another day coming real soon, because there's 3 holidays coming up, back to back. This one, and then what's the next one? What is it?
It's Day of Atonement.
Day of Atonement, correct? Day of Atonement. You made it down here today. Understand that you're about to do the Day of
Right.
Not a lot of people can make their atonement.
Right.
Because water tastes real good.
That's right.
Khan, sir.
That drop of water is the best drop of water you've tasted all year.
Right.
But see, that's the way it is when you begin to understand the biblical meaning of everything. Once you taste that, it's the best thing you've ever tasted. Once you taste the reality of what life is, what the meaning of everything is, you've never seen anything or tasted anything or felt anything like what's about to come. Now that you know that you are in the 7th month, you are in the real time zone that the Lord has made.
Right.
You're not in the time zone that was usurped by the Greeks or the Romans or anybody else. And we should learn to do that because today, this day is special. And it's special because it's a day that brings us back, when you begin to read between the lines, brings us back to the reality of who we are and where we are and the times we live. And we're not living in these false holidays, but in real holidays.
Right.
Holiday is meant for us not only to feast together and bring brotherhood together, but it's also meant to wake us up to the reality of where we live and the times we live in, and the reality of time itself. You know what I'm saying? So we're here today because it is the 7th month. It is November. And we got to understand that it's not what's been painted to us, but it's something that we have to once again come back to the Bible to begin to understand not only who we are, what time really is, what being spiritual really is, and what keeping laws and commandments really is, but if brotherhood really is.
No, Khan, no, that's definitely true. And if I could, just to add on what you were saying, sir, just going back to the pagan holidays, like you said, like New Year's, the oppressor likes to say, the beginning of the year, it starts in January, but according to the scriptures, it would really be around April. And if you really think about it, it's really easy to tell that just by looking at the seasons, because April is what? That's about springtime. That's when, the flowers start blooming, the animals start coming back out of hibernation. It looks very alive.
Right.
As pertaining to winter. Winter, I mean, the leaves falling off the trees, all the animals going back inside, hibernating. It looks real dead almost.
Right.
But Esau tells you that, no, this is the new year. It's cold as hell outside. According to the seasons, if you really pay attention to what's going on around you, the season's going to show you when the next, I guess you could say the next, I don't want to say new year, but where the new season would begin, in a sense, if that makes sense. But what time is it?
8:45.
8:45. Whoa. It's kind of cutting it close. Salakia.
Salute the Torah.
Yeah, no.
You got anything else on?
La.
Good.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. Okay, Salakia. So, all right. Does anybody have any questions before we close the class? Anybody? Y'all good, sis? Y'all good? No questions? Okay. That. All right. Majim, just me and the brothers up here.
La Yashrala.
All right, men of Israel, gird up thy loins to prepare to salute the Torah. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak Yah.
Yahweh Hashem Yashar Barak Yah.
Yahweh Hashem Yashar Barak Yah.
Yahweh Hashem Yashar Barak Yah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barak Yah.
Yahweh Hashem Yashar Barak Yah.
One on each side. That's like, get on this right side. Hold on, brother. Y'all stand side by side.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Barak Yah.
Really, come back. You are still standing.
Yahweh Hashem Yashar Barak Yah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Barak Yah.
Yahweh Hashem Yashar Barak Yah.
Yahweh Hashem Yashar Barak Yah.
Yahweh Hashem Yashar Barak Yah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Barak Yah.
What about Malak? Go ahead, hold it for him. Imagine.
Yahweh Hashem Yashar Barak Yah.
Give it back to him.
Majim upon Yah Hakwadam, which means to rise and face the east. This is the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Wadash.
Wadash.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Shemka.
Shemka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malakutka.
Malakutka.
Taba'a.
Taba'a.
Batazaka.
Batazaka.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Barataza.
Barataza.
Kawa.
Kawa.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Bashamayim.
Bashamayim.
Latanyanawa.
Latanyanawa.
Lakum.
Lakum.
Call.
Call.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Basalak now.
Basalak now.
Kabawath now.
Kabawath now.
Basalak now.
Basalak now.
Kabawathi now.
Kabawathi now.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Kabayah now.
Kabayah now.
Saiwan.
Saiwan.
A
ball.
Hawashai now.
Hawashai now.
Ayun.
Ayun.
Rai.
Rai.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Amalakwa.
Amalakwa.
Wa'ala.
Wa'ala.
Watapara.
Watapara.
Awalamyam.
Awalamyam.
Aman.
Aman. The Lord's Prayer in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it.
Hakak, which is the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Ba'ashem.
Yahushai.
Babakashah. Latanyanawa. Hakak. Larapa'a.
Call.
Makala.
Wakal.
Madawa. Hakak. Latahar.
Matazariah.
Hakak.
Lahakwai.
Hamathian. Hakak.
Al.
Rakawa.
Tama'ala.
Garashon. Ba'ashem. Yahushai. The water. Aman. Hakak, the power in the English. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh. Please give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahweh. Thank you. So be it.
The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh. Wa Yahushai. Wa Mayaka Allah. Wa Alahayim. Matazab Ya'ah. Alawap Yahana. Ha Alawapyan. Ha Sarunyan. Ha Quatazayoyan. Haka Yayoyan. Waha Akwathian. Yahweh. Ba'ashem. Yahushai.
The water.
Aman.
The blessings in the English. Bless you, Yahweh. And Yahweh Shai. And Michael. And the angels. Commanding General Yohanan. The generals. The captains. The officers. The troopers. And the sisters. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you. So be it.
Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah.
Ayunya.
All. Hahorim. Mayun. Yaba'ah. Isaiah. Ma'aim.
Yahweh.
Aisha.
Shemayim.
Wa'ratazah. All. Yadun.
Lamawat.
Regalka.
All.
Yanawam.
Shamarka.
Hana.
La'ah.
Yanawam. Wala'ah.
Yayashun.
Shawamar.
Yasharala.
Yahweh.
Shamarka. Yahweh. Tazolka. Ayad. Yamyamka.
Yawamam. Hashamash. La'ah. Yakaka. Wa'arach. Walayallah.
Yahweh. Yashamarka.
Makal. Rai. Yashamar.
Athnapashka.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Taza'afka.
Wa'afka. Ma'ita. Wa'ai.
Iwalam.
Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills. From which cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord. Which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee. Will not slumber. Behold. He that keepeth Israel. Shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon the Upon thy right hand.
Upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day.
The sun shall not smite thee by day.
Nor the moon by night.
Nor the moon by night.
The Lord shall preserve thee.
The Lord shall preserve thee
from all evil.
from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy
The
soul.
Lord shall preserve thy going out.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
And thy coming in.
and thy coming in
From this time forth.
from this time forth
And even forevermore.
and even forevermore.
Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim,
Alahayim,
all,
Damaya,
Laka, all, Dakarash,
Wa'al,
Tashakwat,
Tashakwat,
all,
Kaya,
Hana,
Awayabika,
Yahama, Yawan,
Ra'ash,
I'll,
Amaka,
Ya'aymo, Sawada, Waita,
Yatazawa,
I'll,
Tazapawanyaka,
Amorwa,
Lakawa,
Wanakakida, Magoya, Mala'a, Yazakar, Shum, Yasharala,
Awada, Kaya,
Natazawa,
Laba,
Yakadwa,
Ayaka,
Barayath,
Yakarath,
Ahalia, Adawam, Yashamai, Alayum, Mawa'aba, Wahagorium, Gabal, Wayamalat, Palashaf, Am Yashabia, Tazawar, Gum, Ashawar, Alawa, Imam, Hawa, Sarawai, Labunya, Lawat, Salah, Aisha, Lahum, Kamudyam, Kasaya, Sara'ah, Kayubyan, Manakal, Koyashwan, Nishabmanwa, Bayan, Dara, Hayawa, Daman, La'ah, Dama, Shayatumwa, Nada, Yamawa, Kairab, Wakaza Abba, Wakazaba, Wakatazor, Manai, Kor, Nasayakama, Ashar, Amarwa, Narasha, Lanawa, Af, Nawath, Alahayim, Shayatumwa, Kagogala, Kakwash, Lapunya, Salakia. Rabaka'a, Ka'ash, Kaba'ira, Ya'ira, Wa, Kalahaba, Talahat, Aharium, Kun, Daradatma, Basa'iraka, Wabasa, Wapathka, Bahalam, Mala'a, Panyahum, Kwala 1, Waya, Makwashwa, Shamka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Waya, Bahawa, Adya'ai, Waya, Kaparwa, Waya, Abadwa, Waya, Daiwa, Kaya, Atta, Shamka, Yahawa, Labadka, Ayawan, I'll, Call, Harataza. Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thy silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee, have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel, against thy people, and consulted, against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off, from being a nation, that the name of Israel, may be no more remembered. For they have consulted together, with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and Hagarenes, of Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kasan, which perished at Endor. They became as done for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb, and like Zaid. Yea,
Yea. All their princes as Zabak.
All their princes as Zabak.
And as Almunna.
And as Almunna.
Who said.
Who said.
Let us take to ourselves.
Let us take to ourselves.
The houses of God.
The houses of God.
In possession.
In possession.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Make them like a wheel.
Make them like a wheel.
As a stubble before the wind.
As a stubble before the wind.
As a fire burneth they wood.
As a fire burneth the wood.
And as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
And as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
So persecute them.
So persecute
with thy tempest.
With thy tempest.
And make them afraid.
And make them afraid.
With thy storm.
With thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame.
Fill their faces with shame.
That they may seek thy name.
That they may seek thy name.
O Lord.
O Lord.
Let them be confounded.
Let them be confounded.
And troubled.
And troubled.
Forever.
Forever.
Yea.
Yea.
Let them be put to shame.
Let them be put to shame.
And perish.
And perish.
That men may know.
That men may know.
That thou.
That thou.
Whose name alone.
Whose name alone.
Is Yahweh.
Is Yahweh.
Art the most high.
Art the most high.
For all the earth.
For all the earth.
Slagia, men of Israel, give a courtesy salute to the teachers.
Oh, yeah, okay. You got it?
Men of Israel, Amijam Shabbat, Amijam Barak,
Yahbashim Yahshua
Yahbashim Yahshua Barakatah. Men of Israel face the sisters. Give us courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Amijam Shabbat, Amijam Barak,
Yahweh Shabar Adatham Ba'Shem Yahushai.
Yajamata, class is missed.